Excuse me. Have you played the Entrepreneur's Fun game at davidsbarter.com? If you haven't, we suggest that you get into it and see how much fun starting a business can be. We've made it very simple, very efficient for you to start a business, start with an idea, see what other people think about your idea. We'll teach you how to market to your landing page, and that's what it is in the game. You develop your own landing page that you sell something, a product, a service, or you might market an idea. A whole host of things that you can do with them, and each day we talk about something new that you can do with your landing page. But from now until the end of the year, which is about 92 days, we are allowing 10,000 entrepreneurs who want to start a business the opportunity to play the game at no charge. Let me show you exactly the process that you need to do to get it going. First thing you need to do is go to davidsbarter.com. That is the front door of our community. That's where you register to become a member of the community. And let me explain why folks need to register. First and foremost, we want to protect the integrity of the community. And while we are doing that, we want to protect you inside of our firewalls. But we don't want just anybody inside our firewalls. We want to make sure, as best we can, that they are a real person wanting to do the things that we do in the community. And that is basically, we talk about small business. That's the overall theme. As important it is to talk about small business and all the challenges there are to being a small business owner, it is extremely important. I emphasize extremely important at this point in time in our history that we start as many new businesses as we possibly can. Why do I say that? Well, starting a business, owning a business is a good thing. I've done it for over 40 years, and as I look back on my life, I don't think there's any other way that I would have gotten the satisfaction that I get every day when I wake up and do something to help my business move forward. I can't think of any other way that I would rather spend the time. There are a lot of folks, unfortunately, who are looking for a job right now. Who are those folks? Those folks are people who maybe had a job 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Really, small businesses started to lay people off in great numbers about 5 years ago. And why did they do that? Why did this massive layoff start to happen in our economy? It happened basically because the big business model failed. The handwriting was on the wall. It wasn't working. And one of the first things that the president did when he got into office about 4 years ago was to create a stimulus package for big business. So you and I, as taxpayers, gave all this bailout money to these large businesses that were failing. And it was happening in banking. Oh my, have we seen the miserable things that happened to bank and what banks did to people in terms of financing their homes. Many people, too many people, have felt the pain of what banks were doing in terms of mortgages. It failed in the insurance industry. The largest insurance company in the world failed. A company that was worth billions of dollars had to get this bailout money from you and I, the taxpayers. Insurance, auto manufacturers. That was also one of the big industry, and we know that thing. All the money that was your money and my money that was given to the auto manufacturers because they weren't doing business right, they weren't competing right, they weren't manufacturing right. So their model. So here's what happened. We gave all this money, and in businesses cutting back their expenses, the first thing they did was laid people off. Millions and millions of people were laid off from their jobs. Now, here we are 2, 3, 4 years later. What has happened is that when these companies, big companies and small businesses, when they laid people off, they had to continue to do business, continue to do the same amount of business that they were doing before they laid off. They found new productivity and new efficiencies in the way they managed and ran their businesses. Now, that's not a bad thing for business. That's a great thing for business. Unfortunately, if you lost your job in that process, it's a bad thing because you were never going to get that job back. Now, companies are starting to hire back. The unemployment rate is dropping. Not enough, but it is. But they're not hiring back as quickly as they laid off. That is obvious. As a matter of fact, I told you here at stickham.com, wasn't doing YouTube at the time, I told you at stickham.com that about 3 years ago, the Kauffman Foundation and all the research that they do said that if our economy was going to get back to any sense of normalcy, we had to create 300,000 jobs a month for 36 consecutive months or 3 years. At best, we are only halfway to that number. Once again, we turn to small business to get the answer, to provide the answer to the problem that this country has. Now, there's another new dimension to that whole thing. Existing small businesses are not hiring back, they're not creating the jobs. As always, the major component in the economy that creates new jobs are new business startups. It's always been that way. Now more so than ever. It is our commitment to, in David's Barter's community, to help, to provide some important resources for new businesses to get started. As a matter of fact, it's getting started with the Entrepreneurs Fund Game. 10,000 entrepreneurs who want to start a business and create job number one, because when you start a business, you are creating job number one, and that's the job that the entrepreneur has to build and grow that business. If they grow to a point where they need other people involved, they create more new jobs by hiring new people. So the process gets started with starting a business, creating job number one. So, Entrepreneurs Fund Game. The way to play is you go to davidsbarter.com, look for the red box, can't miss it, fill in the 4 fields of information, creating a username for yourself, and that username ought to be something that is suggestive of the business that you are developing or the brand that you are developing. I created as my username Small Biz David. That is the brand that I have created for the community. There's Small Biz David. We are very consistent in marketing that brand. You will see that all over the internet. Anytime I have an opportunity to put my avatar out there in the community, in cyberspace on the internet, you'll see it. It is there. I do something new every single day to get that brand out there. We do 3 YouTubes, at least 3 YouTubes every single day. It's an important part of building our community. So it starts with your username. We then ask you for your email address. We don't do this to send you emails as such. You'll get one email back from us, and it's called an autoresponder. When you fill in your email address, it starts to tell us that you're probably a real person and probably are giving us a real email address. We find that out when we do what is called an autoresponder. We automatically send you an email with further instructions on what you need to do to become an active member of the community and to register to play the Entrepreneurs Fund Game. Then you create your own password, confirm that password, and you are ready to go. Okay, then the instructions will tell you to create your own community marketing profile. That's part of the game, because it's that profile that people will search the keywords that we use in the community, and there are search engines on every single page where you will enter those keywords, and it will take you to what is happening in the community where those keywords are being used. So that is how we generate traffic to your page. That is how we optimize our entire community, because optimization is at the heartbeat of the community. We have created a very optimized, very Google-ized community landing page. Let's go to the first page that was ever created in the community. This happens to be my page. So it is davidsbarter.com/smallbizdavid. And every landing page has an area where you will, it's called a banner, and you will build your own banner for your own page in this area. Then you will have a media player on your page. It's a YouTube media player. Very, very important, because the most important part that we have done to build our community, the most important element, has been our development of YouTubes. We now have it's approaching 350 YouTubes talking about small business, talking about starting a small business. The last 90, we're now doing number 92, have been about starting a business. And this is very important for you to A, learn some new things about your business, and B, when people are looking for information about starting a business, they will go to Google, they will do a search, and hopefully Google will bring them to our community to get whatever information people are looking for, or something to buy. Just like you do in the Google world, when you Google, Google will bring them to our community based upon our abilities to get Google's attention, and we do have Google's attention for our community. If you want to see how much attention we have, just Google davidsbarter, all one word, or Google small biz David and put it in quotation marks, and you will see that Google knows where we are, knows who we are, knows what we do, and gives people the ability to come to our community. Once inside the community, then they will search for your landing page, my landing page, anybody's landing page, based upon the keywords that are being used. That's the concept. So, when I say create a community marketing profile, if you want my example of my community profile, go to davidsbarter.com/smallbizdavid. The community profile will always appear in the same place on a landing page, right in the lower left-hand corner. There's 6 fields of information there. None of it is private information. We don't want private information to be hosted on our servers. That creates a whole other challenge for us, that if private information is hosted on our servers, we are liable if our servers are attacked and hacked and people get access to private information. So our answer to that is we just don't put private information there. All the information that you will enter is you describing your business using keywords. We ask 6 questions, and you just answer those questions using keywords. What are the keywords? What words do you use? 749 of about 1,000 of those keywords can be found if you download a PDF of my book, How Do You Answer These 749 Questions About Your Small Business. It's a book that I wrote 4 years ago. If you've been following me, when this cover's coming off, I've used it so much. In the back of the book, I created 4 years ago, and I didn't realize how important it was going to be today. I created a keyword index. So here's the keywords that you can use to describe what it is that you do. And not only will you find the keywords back there, but it also references a question in the book. So 90-day goals. If you go to question number 3 in the book, it gives you the question. Now, in the case of the book, 90-day goals. I like that. Actually, that's changed. I don't think in terms of 90-day goals anymore. And that's how my thinking has changed in the last 4 years. They're now 100-day goals. It's easier to think in terms of 100 days than it is 90. Typically, when you have 90-day goals, you try to tie it into your calendar, and you have to remember 30 days has September, April, June, and November. You have to remember that. So we try to make it even easier in that aspect. And we have 100-day goals. So question number 3 in the book, do you have 90-day, it should be 100-day, very specific written goals for your small business? Goals in written and small business have not changed. It's just the number of days. But we created a workspace. So I did not provide answers to those questions. The answers are those questions. You determine if they're important for you, either for your existing business or for your new business startup. You determine that. So there's 1,000 keywords in the book that gives you a chance to use keywords. Then the answers to the questions, I started providing answers to the questions about 4 years ago, when the only criticism I got about the book, the only criticism I got, was that I did not provide answers to the questions. And it was my intent not to provide answers to the questions because you'd get my perspective on things and not necessarily helpful to you. It could be. I mean, I can give you the right answers, but they're my answers. So in the last 4 years, we have focused on providing answers to those questions in all the videos and the live streaming that we do at stickham.com. And we used to record all the Stickham shows. I forgot to turn the record button on right now. And then we put those on a media player, and you could go back and see all those and get answers and hear the stories, etc., etc. So, since February, all of the keywords, well, it started actually before February, but now answers to the questions and new appropriate keywords are found on all the videos that I do at YouTube. So when I'm doing a YouTube, I create a description. I create a title of the video, a description, a brief description of the video, and YouTube, Google calls them tags. Tags are the same thing as keywords. So a tag in YouTube, in Google, is a keyword in our community. So every single video that I do, I create a landing page in the community that deals with that question, that concern, and again, every video I do has keywords in it. So we created another probably over 2,000 keywords, at least as many that are in the book and more. So we've got several thousand keywords now that can be found inside the community. You get those keywords, you build your community marketing profile. This area of your landing page is where you will put what it is that you do, what it is that you sell, a product, a service, whatever you choose is the best thing for you. Then, actually, for the next 92 days, you can create some cash flow for yourself at no expense to you by playing the game. Now you see why we call it the Entrepreneur's Fun Game. At the end of the year, approximately 92 days, We will take 24 landing pages and award them with a special prize. What they will all get are subscriptions to what we call our managed optimized bandwidth. That's what we do when we create. When you create a landing page, we drive traffic to your page with our managed optimized bandwidth subscriptions. So 24 people, excuse me, will win managed subscriptions for 2013. Let's go to the game and let's see what that's all about. There's more detail. Okay, here is the page, davidsbarter.com/entrepreneurs. This is the Entrepreneurs Fun Game description. In the spirit of small business fun, we have developed the David's Barter Community Entrepreneurs Fun Game. Entrepreneurs who want to start a new small business can play the game complimentary until the end of the year. 24 winners will be announced at that time. We have created enough server capacity for 10,000 folks to play the game. We want you to play the game if you've got a good, feasible small business idea. We want you to work with your family, your friends, get together, work together, create a team to play the game with you, to help you play the game, to help you market the game, whatever it is, so that from now until the end of the year, you will create the most cash flow on your page as you possibly can. I talked about 24 winners. Up in the upper right-hand corner here, we describe who those 24 winners will be. 8 of them will win 400-day subscriptions as their prize. That's the number one prize, a 400-day subscription. A 400-day subscription in 2013 will cost $1,599. So that is what the 8 folks will win that. 8 folks will win a 200-day subscription that has a value of $999, and 8 folks will win a 100-day subscription, and that has a value of $599. Why 8? And what are the 8 different, what we call sociographic categories? You have to sign up for the game and be a part of one of those categories. Category number 1 is students of entrepreneurship, grades 6 through 8. The primary player must be a student of entrepreneurship who is in grades 6 through 8, and we encourage you to get your friends to help you on that page. We encourage you to get your families involved in your very optimized, very Google-ized landing page. Second sociographic class, students of entrepreneurship, grades 9 through 12. Once again, they're basically high school students. Form a team, whatever. It's people working together creatively to create the most cash flow for your page. Final students of entrepreneurship category are college and university students. Self-explanatory. I have personally Small Biz David has personally worked with each one of these categories in past years. And if you've been following me on Stickam for any length of time, we have done a lot of broadcasts, Stickam live streaming broadcasts, targeted to these various demographic categories, sociographic categories. Coming up in November, 1 month from now, a little over a month from now, 6 weeks from now, students of entrepreneurship will play into the formula very largely, as once again we celebrate as a distinguished partner Global Entrepreneurship Week. It'll be the second week in February. I believe it's November 12th is the start date, where entrepreneurs around the world celebrate their successes, and we work and motivate and teach students about what it is that we have done in business. In November, in an event that was originally started by the Kaufman Foundation. You'll hear me talk about them a lot. They are the entrepreneurship foundation, headquartered in Kansas City. Actually, 2 years I spent Global Entrepreneurship Week actually in Kansas City at the Kaufman Foundation, learning as much as I possibly could about it. So I'm a 5-year distinguished partner, and this year it's going to be bigger than ever as we have our game going, and we will promote your page, your game going. We will, during that week sometime, we will mention every single student of entrepreneurship who is playing the game. And when I say mention, you'll get exposure on YouTube, and you'll get exposure on Google+, and you'll have a permanent place in a landing page in the community. So get started now, and by the time November comes, we'll expose those pages. We'll talk about those pages. We'll talk with you. We'll Skype. You'll Skype with me. You'll Skype on this screen. We'll talk about your pages. We're just going to have a lot of fun that week of Global Entrepreneurship Week. Another thing that we are going to be doing as a community, Global Entrepreneurship Week will be a very big week for entrepreneurs in Nigeria, in Western Africa. Why did I say that? About 8 or 9 months ago, I developed a friendship with a gentleman by the name of Humphrey Akanazu. Humphrey is a Nigerian who was studying business in Rome, Italy, in the Rome School of Business. While he was a student there in the last year, he met my son Sam and daughter-in-law Kimberly, and they told him, you need to talk to Small Biz Dad. And so Humphrey and I got together, and Humphrey right now, he left Rome. I was with him in Rome a couple different times in the first 2 weeks of August when I was visiting in Rome. Humphrey is back in Nigeria right now, and he is building in Nigeria what he is calling the, I believe he's calling it the Entrepreneur Development Center. Humphrey's mission, his objective, is to help as many Africans in Nigeria as he possibly can to start businesses. What a wonderful, noble thing that he is doing, and his purpose for doing this is very clear. Humphrey's major motivation in life right now in terms of entrepreneurship, he believes that students of entrepreneurship in Nigeria, at the student's age, if they're still in school, there is a lot of trouble in their lives if they are unemployed, if they don't have a job. Humphrey's mission is to help them start businesses using our social marketing, our social network technology. It is helping Humphrey right now develop his business, and he wants to share that experience with as many Nigerians as he possibly can. So that's also going to be a major focal point of Global Entrepreneurship Week. I'll quickly mention the other 5 categories that you can enter. Baby boomers, those folks who were born between the years of 1946 and 1964, myself included. Baby boomers are the most important demographic in our country right now because they represent the largest number of people in this country. There's over 75 million people living in this country right now in the United States who were born between the years of 1946 and 1964. They have created some very, very important challenges that people didn't plan for 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. Well, if you were born if you were born in 1946, that was 54 plus 12, 66 years ago. We didn't plan for them, and what is happening is many, many baby boomers like myself cannot totally retire because we can't live on Social Security that we've worked so hard to create for ourselves. I was paying into Social Security for 50 years, and whereas I get a good check every month, it's not enough to support a very simple, modest lifestyle that I have, and so I created the community to generate additional cash flow for myself. That was the me part of creating the community. There's a big you part about it, and if you really want to understand what the you part of the community is, go to when you register to become a member of the community, or you can go to YouTube. I'd rather you become a member of the community. Last week, I did it on Stickam. Not sure which day I did. Maybe it was last Sunday. Last Monday, I did the Entrepreneur's Pledge. So if you look for the words Entrepreneur's Pledge and listen to the video, you'll find out why I am doing the things that I'm doing. It has you involved, very much you involved, because I pledge as an entrepreneur to give back to the community, to give back to people, because it was the community and people that have made my life what it is. So it's time for me to give back, and that's why I spent a lot of time and resources creating a very optimized, very Google-ized landing page, single page, single domain address, URL, where you can start a business. I started a business. I am just sharing with you the things that are helping make my business grow. I say just do what I do. You'll have to create your own value proposition, whatever that might be. You create that. What is your passion in life? What is it that you want to do to build a business? You put it on your landing page. That's what it's all about. So from now until the end of the year, about 92 days, we are playing the Entrepreneur's Fun Game. 24 folks will win complimentary subscriptions to our managed, optimized bandwidth. That's what we provide for you to your landing page. We bring traffic to the community. We spend money to create enough bandwidth to bring thousands of people to our community. Then, once inside the community, folks will be looking for your landing page. That's the concept of what we're calling the Entrepreneur's Fun game. And the 24 pages that generate the most cash flow on their landing page between now and the end of the year will be declared the winners. And along the way, we'll talk about anybody that we can, as time permits, anybody who is playing the game. We'll register, get that game going now, be one of the 24 winners that we have in the next 92 days.